During the 6th and 7th centuries, the inhabitants of the modern-day states of regions and regions in northwest India developed a method of gaining access to clean, fresh groundwater during the dry season for drinking, bathing, watering animals, and irrigation. However, the significance of this invention, the step walls, goes beyond its preliminary application. Unique to this region, step walls are often architecturally complex and vary widely in size and shapes. During their heyday, they were a place of gathering, of leisure and relaxation, and of the worship for villagers of all. About the lowest cases, most step walls are found dotted around the desert area of ground where they are called a vale, and the rest where they are called a bar. Where a few also survive in Delhi. Some were located in earlier villages as public spaces for the community. Others were positioned beside roads as resting in place for travelers. As their name suggests, step walls comprise a series of stone steps descending from ground level to the water source, normally an underground aquifers, and recedes. Following the rains, when the water level was high, they usually needed only to descend a few steps to reach it. When it was low, several levels would have to be negotiated. Some walls are vast, open craters with hundreds of steps, paving each sloping inside. Often in tiles, others are more elaborate, with long stepped passages leading to the water via several stories, built from stone and supported by pillars. They also included pavilions that sheltered visitors from the relentless heat. But perhaps the most impressive features are the intricate, decorative sculptures that embellish many step walls, showing activities from fighting and dancing to everyday acts such as women combing their hair or changing butter. Down the centuries, thousands of walls was constructed throughout northwestern India, but the majority have now fallen into disuse. Many are derelict and dry, as groundwater has been diverted for industrial use, and the walls no longer reach the water table. The condition has been hurt by recent dry spells. Southern regions suffered an 8-year drought between 1996 and 2004. However, some important sites in Ielts have recently undergone a major restoration, and the state government announced in June last year that it plans to restore the step walls throughout the state. In Part 10, the state's actions capital, the step wall of Queen Stepwell in perhaps the finest current example is what built by Queen Anne during the late 11th century, also became slided up following a flood during the 13th century, of the archaeological survey of India began resorting it's in the 1960s, and today it is the pristine in condition at 35 meters long, 20 meters wide, and 27 meters deep. The remarkable features 500 sculptures covered into niches throughout the monument. Incredibly, in June 2001, this ancient structure survived an earthquake that measured 7.6 on the Richter scale. Another example is the school in the monument located next to the Sun Temple, built by King Bahama I in 1026 to honor the sun god Saya. It actually resembles a tank against reservoirs of pond, rather than a well, but displays the hallmarks of statue architecture, including four sides of steps that descend to the bottom in the stunning geometrical formation. The terrace house 108 small intricately covered sharing between the sets of steps. It should also have a well. The ancient city of Bangde, 200 kilometers south of Jaipur, is renowned for its architecture, including its step walls. One of the larger examples is which was built by the Queen of the region, Elizabeth, in 1999. It's 46 meters deep, 20 meters wide, and 40 meters long. The intrinsically covered monument is one of the 21 fires commissioned in the Bangde area by in the older ruined town of about 95 kilometers east of the river is changed. One of the Indian's oldest and deepest wells. Aesthetically, it is perhaps one of the most dramatic, built in around 850 AD after next to the temple of Artemis. The volume comprises hundreds of zigzagging steps that run along three of these sides, deeply sinking 9 stories, resulting in a striking pattern when seen from afar. On the fourth side, verandahs which are supported by ornate pillars overlook the steps. Street in public use is located just off the Jaipur highway. It constructed in around 70,000 in 1700. It is 9 stories deep, with the last two being underwater, and at ground level there are 6 column-leaded openings where the victor descended 160 steps to the deepest water source. The following years of neglect, and many of these monuments to medieval engineering have been saved by the Archaeological Survey of India, which has recognized the importance of preserving them as part of the country's rich history. Tourists flock to Wales in far-flung corners of northwestern India to gain gifts in wonder at this architecture marvels from hundreds of years ago, which serve as a reminder of both the ingenuity and the artistry of ancient civilizations. and of the value of water to human existence. William Henry Higgins was born on March 12, 1838 in London, England. As a boy, Higgins caused curiosity promoted earlier interest in the arts, science, photography, and engineering, but this was a chance stumbling upon a rundown its fractional laboratory in his late grandfather's home, and thus solidified their young man's enthusiasm for chemistry. As their students at the City of London School, Perkin became immersed in the study of chemistry. His talents and devotion to the subject was perceived by his teacher, Thomas Hall, who encouraged him to attend a series of lectures given by the eminent scientist Michael Faraday at the Royal Institution. Those speeches fed the young chemist's enthusiasm further, and later went on to attend the Royal College of Chemistry, which he succeeded in entering in 1853 at the age of 15. At their time, Perkins' enrollment in the Royal College of Chemistry was headed by the noted German chemist August William Hoffmann. Perkins' scientific gifts soon caused Hoffmann's attention, and within 2 years, he became Hoffmann's youngest assistant. Not long after that, Perkins made the scientific breakthrough that would bring him both fame and fortune. At the time, quinine was the only viable medical treatment for malaria, and the drug is derived from the bark of the glycola tree native to South America, and by 1856, demand for the drug was surprisingly available supply. Thus, when Holmes made some passing comments about the desirability of the synthetic substitute for quinine, it was unsurprising that his star pupil was moved to take up the challenge. During his vacation in 1856, Perkins spent his time in the laboratory on the top floor of his family's house. He was attempting to manufacture quinine from a lilan, inexpensive and readily available coal waste products. Despite his best efforts, however, he did not end up with quinine. Instead, he produced a mysterious dark sludge. Luckily, Perkins' scientific training and later promoted him to investigate the substance further, incorporating in detritus and alcohol into the onions at the various stages of the experimental process. He finally produced a deep purple solution and proving the truth of the famous scientist Louis Pasteur's words. Chance favors only their prepared mind. Perkins saw the potential of his unexpected find. Historically, textile dyes were made from such natural sources as plants and animal excretations. Some of these, such as the glandular models of snails, were difficult to obtain and outrageously expensive. Indeed, the purple color extracted from the snail was once so costly that in society at the time, only the rich could afford it. Further, nature dyes tended to be mildly in hue and fade quickly. It was against this backdrop that Sprague's discovery was made. Packing quickly grasped this turbo solution could be used to color fabric, thus making it the world's first synthetic dye. Realizing the importance of his breakthrough, he lost no time in patenting it. But perhaps the most fascinating of all, Perkins' reaction to his find was his nearly instant regulation that the new dye had commercial possibilities. Perkins originally named his dye Terrorine Purple, but it later became commonly known as Marron from the French or for the plants used to make the color violet. After advice of Scottish dye workers owner Robert Poller, who assured him that manufacturing the dye would be worth if the color remained fast. For example, not fade, and the cost was relatively low, so of the fierce objections of his mentor homies, he left college to give birth to the modern chemical industry. With the help of his father and brother, Perkins set up a factory not far from London, utilizing the cheap and plentiful color gel that was an almost unlimited byproducts of London's street lighting. The dye worker began producing the world's first synthetically dyed material in 1857. The company received a commercial boost from the impressed Union of France, when she decided the new color frightened her. Very soon, Marvel was the necessary shade for all the fashionable ladies in the country. Not to be outdone, England's Queen Victoria also appeared in public wearing a modern gown, thus making it all the rage in England as well. The dye was bold and fast, and the public clamored for more. Perkins went back to the drawing board. Although Perkins' fame was achieved and fortune assured by his first discovery, the chemist continued his research. Among other dyes, they developed and introduced over a new red 1850 line and black 1863, and in the late 1860s, Perkins green. This important to note that Perkins' synthetic dye discoveries had outcomes for beyond the merely decorative. The dye also became vital to medical research in many ways. For instance, they were used to stain previously invisible microbes and bacteria, allowing researchers to identify such bacteria as trouble colonics and others. Artificial dye continue to play a crucial role today, and it also would have been particularly pleasing to Perkins. The current use is the search for a vaccine against the malaria. The question of whether we are alone in the universe has haunted humanity for centuries, but we may now stand posed on the brink of the answer to the question as we search for radio signals from other intelligent civilizations. This search, often known by the acronym SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is a difficult one, although groups around the world have been researching intermittently for 3 decades. It is only now that we have reached the level of technology where we can make a determined attempt to search all nearby stars for any sign of life. The primary reason for the research is basic curiosity, in the same curiosity about the nature world that drives or pure science. We want to know whether we are alone in the universe. We want to know whether life evolves naturally if given the right conditions, or whether there is something very special about the Earth to have fostered the variety of life forms that we see around us on the planet. The simple detection of the radio signal will be sufficient to answer this most basic of all questions. In this science, SETI is another cog in the machinery of pure science, which is continually pushing us the horizontal of our knowledge. However, there are other reasons for being interested in whether life exists elsewhere. For example, we have had civilizations on Earth for perhaps only a few thousand years, and the threats of nuclear war and Pollution over the last few decades have taught us that our survival may be tenuous. Will we last another 2,000 years or will wipe ourselves out? Well, since the lifetime of planets like ours is 7 billion years, we can expect that if other civilizations do survive in our galaxy, their ages will range from 0 to several billion years. Thus, any other civilization that we heard from is likely to be far older on average than ourselves. The mere existence of such a civilization will tell us that long-term survival is possible and gives us some cause for optimism. It is even possible that the older civilization may pass on the benefits of their experience on dealing with the threats to survival, such as nuclear war and global pollution, and other threats that we haven't yet discovered. In discussing whether we are alone, most SETI scientists adapt two ground rules. First, UFOs, unidentified and flying objects, are generally ignored since most scientists don't consider the evidence for them to be strong enough to bear serious consideration. Although it is also important to keep an open mind in case any really convincing evidence emerges in the future. Second, we make a very conservative assumption that we are looking for a life form that is pretty well like us, since if it differs radically from us, we may lose recognizing it as a life form, quite apart from whether we are able to communicate with it. In other words, the life form we are looking for may well have 2 green heads and 7 fingers, but it will nevertheless resemble us in that it should communicate with its fellows and be interested in the universe, live on a planet or operating a star like our sun, and perhaps most restrictively have a chemistry like us based on carbon and water. Even when we make these assumptions, our understanding of other life forms is still severely limited. We do not even know, for example, how many stars have planets, and we certainly do not know how likely it is that life will arise naturally given the right conditions. However, when we look at the 100 billion stars in our galaxy, the Milky Way, and the 100 billion galaxies in the observed outer universe, it seems inconceivable that at least one of these planets does not have a life form on it. In fact, the best educated guesses we can make using the little that we do know about the conditions for carbon-based life lead us to estimate that perhaps one in 100,000 stars must have a life-bearing planet orbiting it. That means that our nearest neighbors are perhaps 100 light years away, which is almost next door in astronomical terms. An alien civilization could choose many different ways of sending information across the galaxy, but many of these either require too much energy, or else are severely attainable, or traversing the vast distance across the galaxy. It turns out that for a given amount of transmitted power, radio waves in the frequency ranging 1,000 to 3,000 MHz travel the greatest distance, and so all such searches to this have concentrated on looking for radio waves in this frequency range. So far, there have been a number of researches by various groups around the world, including Australian researchers using the radio telescopes at Parkes, New South Wales. Until now, there have not been any detections from the few hundred stars which have been searched. The scale of the researches has been increased dramatically since 1992, when the U.S. Congress voted NASA $10 million per year for 10 years to conduct a thorough research for extraterrestrial life. Much of the money in this project is being spent on developing the special hardware needed to search many frequencies at once. The project has two parts. One part is a targeted research using the world's largest radio telescopes, the American-operated telescope in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and the French telescope in Nancy, in France. This part of the project is searching the nearest 1,000 likely star with a high sensitivity for signals in the frequency range 1,000 to 3,000 MHz. The other part of the project is the undirected search, which is monitoring all of space with a lower sensitivity using the smaller antennas of NASA's deep space network. There is considerable debate over how we should react if we detect the signal from an alien civilization. Everybody agrees that we should not reply immediately. Quite apart from the impracticality of sending a reply over such large distances, at short notice, it raises a host of ethical questions that would have to be addressed by the global community before any reply could be sent. Would the human race face the culture shock you faced with the superior and much older civilization? Luckily, there is no urgency about this. The stars being researched are hundreds of light years away, so it takes hundreds of years for the signal to reach us, and further few hundred years for our reply to reach them. It is not important then if there's a delay of a few years or decades, or the human race debates the question of whether to reply, and perhaps carefully it drops a reply. If you go back far enough, everything lived in the sea at the various points in evolutionary history, comprising individuals within many different animals groups moved out onto the land, sometimes even to their most parched deserts, taking their own private seawater with them in blood and cellular fluids, in addition to the reptiles, birds, mammals, and insects which we see all around us. Other groups that have succeeded out of water include scorpions, snails, crustaceans such as woodlice and nanocrabs, millipedes and centipedes, spiders, and various worms. And we mustn't forget the plants, with also whose prior invasion of the land, none of their other migrations could have happened. Moving from water to land involved a major redesign of every aspect of life, including breathing and reproduction. Nevertheless, a good number of thoroughgoing land animals later turned around, abandoned their hard-earned terrestrial refueling, and returned to the water again. Seals have only gone part of the way back. They show us what the intermediate must have been like on their way to extreme cases such as whales and dolphins. And dolphins, whales, including the small whales we call dolphins, and dolphins with their crossings, and their manatees ceased to be named creatures altogether and reverted to the former marine habits of their remote ancestors. They don't even come ashore to breathe. They do, however, still breathe air, having never developed anything equivalent to the gills of their earlier marine incarnation. Turtles went back to the sea a very long time ago, and like all vertebrates returning to the water, they breathe air. However, they are, in one respect, less fully giving back to the water than whales or dolphins, for turtles still lay their eggs on beaches. There is evidence that all modern turtles are descended from a terrestrial ancestor which lived before most of the dinosaurs. There are two key fossil caught dating from earlier dinosaur times, which appear to be close to the ancestry of all modern turtles and tortoises. You may wonder how we can tell whether fossil animals lived on land or in water, especially if only fragments were found. Sometimes it's obvious or reptilian contemporaries of the dinosaurs with fins and streamlined bodies. The fossil looks like dolphins, and they surely lived like dolphins in the water. With the turtles, it is a little less obvious. One way to tell is by measuring the bones of their forelimbs. Water, jaws, and Georges brother at the Yale University obtained 3 measurements in these particular bones. Of 71 species of living turtles and terrestrial turtles and tortoises, they use a kind of a triangular graph paper to plot the three measurements against one another. All the tortoise species formed a tight cluster of points in the upper part of the triangle. All the water turtles clustered in the lower part of the triangular graph. There was no overlap. Except when they added some species that spend time both in water and on land. Sure enough, this species show up on the triangular graph are approximately halfway between the west cluster of sea turtles and the dry cluster of land turtles. The next step was to determine whether the fossil fill on the bones of P and P. It leaves us in no doubt. The points on the graph are right in the thick of the dry cluster. Both these fossils were dry land. They came from the year before our turtles returned to the water. You may think, therefore, that modern land turtles have probably stayed on land ever since this earlier terrestrial times. As most mammals did after a few of them went back to the sea, but apparently not. If you draw out the family tree of all modern turtles and tortoises, nearly all their branches are arcuate. To this end, turtles constitute a single branch, deeply nested among branches consisting of arcuate turtles. This suggesting that modern land turtles have lost state on land continuously since the time of P. Rather, their ancestors were among these who went back to the water, and they then re-emerged back onto the land in relatively more recent times. Turtles therefore represents a remarkable double return in common with all mammals, reptiles, and birds. The remote ancestors were marine fish, and before that, various more or less worm-like creatures stretching back still in the sea to the primeval period. Later ancestors lived on land and stayed there for a very large number of generations. Later ancestors still evolved back into the water and became sea turtles, and finally they returned yet again to their land as turtles, so some of which now live in the dries of deserts. Hearing importance or other auditory function deficiency in young children can have a major impact on the development of speech and communication, resulting in a detrimental effect on their ability to learn at school. This is likely to have major consequences for the individual and the population as a whole. The New Zealand Ministry of Health has found from research carried out over 2 decades Thus, 6 to 10% of children in their country are affected by hearing noise. A preliminary study in New Zealand has shown that classroom noise presents a major concern for teachers and pupils. Modern teaching practice says the organization of desks in the classroom, poor classroom acoustics, and mechanical means of ventilation, such as air conditioning in units, or contributes to the number of children unable to comprehend the teacher's voice. Education researchers Liston and Solly have also suggested that recent trends in learning often involve collaborative interaction of multiple minds and tools as much as individual procession of information. This all amounts to highlighted activity and noise level, which have the potential to be particularly serious for children experiencing auditory function deficit. Noise in classrooms can only accelerate their difficulty in comprehending and processing verbal communication with other children and instructions from the teacher. Children with auditory function deficit are potentially falling to learn to their maximum potential because of noise levels generated in classrooms. There are effects of noise on the ability of children to learn effectively in typical classroom environments are now the subjects of increasing concern. The International Institute of Noise Control Engineering, on the advance of World Health Organization, has established an international working party which includes New Zealand to evaluate noise and reverberation and control for schoolrooms, while the detrimental effects of noise in classroom situations are not limited to children experiencing disabilities. Those with disability that affects the processing of speech and verbal communication could be extremely vulnerable. The auditory function deficits in question, including hearing hearing impairment, autistic spectrum disorders, and attention deficit disorders. Autism is considered a neurological and genetic lifelong disorder that causes discrepancies in the way information is processed. This disorder is characterized by interlinking problems with social imagination, social communication, and social interaction. According to Jensen, this affects the ability to understand and relate in typical ways to people, understand events and objects in their environment, and understand or respond to sensory stimuli. Autism does not allow learning or thinking in the same ways as in children who are developing normally. Autistic spectrum disorders often results in major difficulties in comprehending verbal information and speech processing. Those experiencing these disorders often find sounds such as clouds, noise, and the noise generated by machinery painful and distressing. This is difficult to scientifically quantify, as such extrasensory stimuli vary greatly from one autistic individual to another, but a child who finds any type of noise in their classroom or learning space intrusive is likely to be adversely affected in their ability to process information. There are attention deficit disorders are indicative of neurological and genetic disorders and are characterized by difficulties with sustaining attention, efforts, and persistence, organizations, skills, and disinhibition. Children experiencing these disorders find it difficult to screen out unimportant information and focus on everything in the environment rather than attending to a single activity. Background noise in the classroom becomes a major distraction which can affect their ability to concentrate. Children experiencing an auditory function deficit can often find speech and communication very difficult to isolate and process when set against the high levels of background noise. These levels came from outside activities that penetrate the classroom structure, from teaching activities and other noise generated inside, which can be exacerbated by low vibration. Strategies are needed to obtain the optimum classroom construction and perhaps a change in classroom culture and methods of teaching. In particular, the effects of noise classrooms and activities on those experiencing disabilities in the form of auditory function deficit need thorough investigation. It is probable that many undiagnosed children exist in the education system with the invisible disabilities. Their needs are less likely to be met than those of children with known disabilities. The New Zealand government has developed a New Zealand disability strategies and has embarked on a wide range consultation process. The strategy recognizes that people experiencing disabilities face significant barriers in achieving a full quality of life in areas such as attitude, education, employment, and access to service. Objective 3 of the New Zealand disability strategy is to provide the best education for disabled people by improving education so that all children, youth learners, and adults learners will have equal opportunities to learn and develop within their already existing local school. For a successful education, the learning environment is vitally significant, and so any efforts to improve this is likely to be of great benefit to all children, and especially to those with auditory function disabilities. A number of countries are already in the process of formulating their own standard for the control and reduction of classroom noise. New Zealand will probably follow their example. The literature to date on noise in schoolrooms appears to focus on the effects on school children in general. Their teachers and hearing impaired only limited attention appear to have been given to those students experiencing the other disabilities involving auditory function deficit. It's imperative that the needs of these children are taken into account in the setting of appropriate international standards to be promulgated in future. Venus in transit. On 8 June 2004, more than half of the population of the world were treated who are real astronomical events. For over 6 hours, the planet Venus steadily inched its way over the surface of the Sun. This transit of Venus was the first since 6 December 1882. On that occasion, the American astronomer Professor Simon Newcomb led a party to South Africa to observe the events. They were based at the girls' school where his alleged the combined forces of three score mistress the professionals with the accuracy of their observations. For centuries, transits of Venus have drawn explorers and astronomers alike to the four colors of the globe. And you can put all down to the extraordinary polymath Ernest Halley. In November 1677, Halley observed a transit of the innermost planet, Mercury, from the desolate islands of islands in the South Pacific. He realized that from different latitudes, the passage of the planets across the sun's disk would appear to differ. By determining their transits from two widely separated locations, the teams of astronomers could calculate the parallax angle, the apparent difference in position of an astronomical body due to a difference in the observer's position. Calculating this angle would allow astronomers to measure what was then the ultimate goal, the distance of the Earth from the Sun. This distance is known as the astronomical units, or AU. Halley was aware that the AU was one of the most fundamental of all astronomical measurements. John Skipper in the early 20th century has shown that the distances of the planets from the Sun governed their orbital speeds, which were easily measurable, but no one had found a way to calculate accurate distance to the planets from the Earth. The goal was to measure the AU, then knowing to orbital speeds of all the other planets around the Sun. The scale of the solar system would fall into place. However, he realized that Mercury was so far away that its parallax angle would be very difficult to determine. As Venus was closer to the Earth, its parallax angle would be larger, and Halley worked out that by using Venus, it would be possible to measure the Sun's distance to one part in 500. But there was a problem. Transits of Venus, unlike those of Mercury, are real, occurring in pairs, roughly 8 years apart every 100 or so years. Next, he accurately predicted that Venus would cross the face of the Sun in both 1761 and 1769, though he didn't survive to see either. Inspired by his suggestion of the way to pin down the scale of the solar system, teams of British and French astronomers set out an expeditions to place as device as India and Siberia. But these one wasn't heard by British and French. But since wasn't heard by Britain and France being at all, the person who deserved the most sympathy is the French astronomer Guillaume Le Gentil. He was thwarted by the fact that the British were assessing his observation sites as Pondicherry in India, fleeing on a French warship crossing the Indian Ocean. One for transit, but the ship pitching and rolling route out any attempt to making an accurate observation. Undoubtedly, he remained south of the equator, keeping himself busy by studying the islands of Marcus and Madagascar before setting off to observe the lake's presence in the Philippines. Ironically, after traveling nearly 50,000 kilometers, his view was clouded out at the last moments of very disappointing experience, where the earlier transit timings were as processed as instruments along, the moments were dogged by the blackdrop effect. When Venus began to cross the sun disk, it looks secular, which makes it difficult to establish timings. And this is due to diffraction of light. The second problem is the Venus exhibits a halo of light when it is seen just outside of the sun disk. Where this showed astronomers that Venus was surrounded by a thick layer of gases reflecting the sunlight around it. Both effects made it impossible to obtain accurate timings, but astronomers labored hard to analyze the results of these expectations of observed Venus transit. James Frank, director of the Berlin Observatory, finally determined a value for the AU based on all these parallax measurements. 153 million 300 for 40,000 kilometers, reasonably accurate for the time. That is quite close to today's value of 149 million 597,870 kilometers determined by radar, which has now surpassed the transits and all other methods in accuracy. The AU is a cosmic measures rod and the basis of how we scale the universe. Today, the parallax principle can be extended to measure the distance to the stars. If we look at the star in January, when Earth is at one point in its orbit, it will seem to be in a different position from where it appears 6 months later. Knowing the width of Earth's orbit, the parallax shifts lets astronomers calculate the distance. In June 2004, for the transit of Venus was thus more of an astronomical spectacle than a significantly important event, but such transits have paved the way for what must prove to be one of the most vital breakthroughs in the cosmos, detecting Earth-sized planets or orbiting other stars. A neuroscientist reveals how to think differently. In the last decades, a revolution has occurred in the way that scientists think about the brain. We now knew that the decisions humans make can be traced to the varying impedance of neurons in specific parts of brains. These discoveries have led to the field known as neurocosmetics, neuroeconomics, which studies the brain's secrets to success in an economic environment that demands innovation and being able to do things differently from competitors. A brain that can do this is an iconoclastic one. Briefly, that is a person who does something that others say can't be done. This different definition implies that are different from other people, but more precisely, it is the brains that are different in three distinct ways: perception, fear response, and social intelligence. Each of these three functions utilize a different circuit in the brain. This must suggest that the brain is irrelevant. That thinking in the original, even revolutionary ways is more a matter of personalities than brain function. But the field of neuroeconomics ways was born out of the realization that the physical workings of the brain place limitations on the way we make decisions. By understanding these constraints, we begin to understand why some people march to a different drum beat. The first thing to realize is that the brain suffers from limited resources. It has a fixed energy budget, amounts of the sun at the 40 watt light bulb. So this has evolved to work as efficiently as possible. This is where most people are implied from being for example, when confronted with information streaming from the eyes, the brain will interpret this information in its quickest way possible. That is will draw on both past experience and any other source of information, such as what other people say, to make sense of what is saying. This happens all the time. The brain takes shortcuts that work so well, we are hardly ever aware of them. We think our perceptions of the world are real, but they are only biological and electrical rumblings. And perception is not simply a product of what your eyes or ears transmit to your brain, more than the physical reality of photons or sound waves. Perception is a product of the brain Perception is central to I can see things differently to other people, and their brains do not fall into efficiency pitfalls as much as the average person's brain, either because they were born that way or of learning, have found ways to work around the perceptual shortcuts that plague most people. Perception is not something that is hardwired into the brain. It is a learned process, which is both a cause and an opportunity for change in the brain. Face the fundamental problem of interpreting physical stimuli from the sense. Everything the brain sees, hears, or touches has multiple interpretations, and the one that is ultimately chosen is simply the brain's best theory. In technical terms, these conjectures have their basis in the statistical likelihood of one interpretation of another, and are heavily influenced by past experience, and importantly for potential what other people see is the best way to see things differently. To other people is to be bombard the brain with things it has never encountered before. Novelty releases the perceptual process from the chains of past experience and force the brain to make new judgments. So successful organists have an extraordinary willingness to be exposed to what is fresh and different. Observation of iconoclast shows that they embrace novelty, where most people avoid things that are different. The problem with novelty, however, is that it tends to trigger the brain's fear system. Fear is a major impediment to thinking like iconoclast, and stops the average person in his tracks. There are many types of fear, but the two that inhabit iconoclastic thinking and people generally find difficult to deal with fear of uncertainty and the fear of public ridicule. This may seem like trivial phobias, but the fears of public speaking, which everyone must do from time to time, afflicts 1/3 of the population, and this makes it too common to be considered a mental disorder. It is simply a common variation of human nature, one which iconoclasts do not less inhibit the reactions. Finally, to be successful iconoclast individuals must say their ideas to other people. This is where social intelligence comes in. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage people in a business setting. In the last decades, there has been an explosion of knowledge about the social brain and how the brain works when groups can coordinate decision making. Neuroscience has revealed which brain circuits are responsible for functions like understanding what other people think, empathy, fairness, and social identity. These brain regions play key roles in whether people convince others of their ideas. Perception is important in social calculation too. The perception of someone's enthusiasm or reputation can make or break a deal. Understanding how perception becomes intertwined with the social decision making shows why successful iconoclasts are so real. Iconoclasts create new opportunities in every area, from artistic inspiration to technology to business. The supply creativity and innovation not easily accomplished by communities' rules. Rules aren't important to them. Unless they face annihilation and failure can also be a major asset to any organization. It's crucial for success in any field to understand how the mind works. Iconoclastic mind works. Argues to language. It's not easy to be systematic and objective about language study. Popular linguistics debates regularly deteriorated into invasive and polemic. Language belongs to everyone, so most people feel they have the right to hold an opinion about it. And when opinions differ, emotions can run high. Arguments can start as easily over minor points of usage as over major policies of linguistic education. Language, moreover, is a very public behavior, so it is easy for different usage to be looked and criticized. No part of society or social behavior is exempt. Linguistic factors influence how we judge personalities, intelligence, social status, educational standards, job aptitude, and many other areas of identity and social survival. As a result, it is easy to hurt and to be hurt. When language use is unfeelingly attacked, it is in its most general sense prescriptivism is the view that one variety of language has an inherently higher value than others, and that is ought to be imposed on the whole of the speech community. The view is propounded, especially in relation to grammar and vocabulary, and frequently with reference to pronunciation. The variety which is favored is this account is usually a version of the standard written language, especially as encountered in literature or in a formal spoken language, which most closely reflects this style. Adherents to this variety are said to speak or write correctly. Deviations from it are said to be incorrect. Other main languages have been studied prescriptively, especially in the 18th century approach to the writing of grammars and dictionaries. The aims of these earlier grammarians were threefold. They wanted to codify the principles of their languages, to show that there was a system beneath the parents' chaos of usage. They wanted a means of settling disputes over usage, and they wanted to point out what they felt to be common errors in order to improve the language. In the authoritarian nature of their approach is best characterized by its reliance on rules of grammar. Some usages are prescribed to be learned and followed accurately. Others are prescribed to be avoided. In this earlier period, there was no half measures. Usage was either right or wrong, and it was the task of the grammarian not simply to record alternatives or to pronounce judgments upon them. These attitudes are still with us, and the motivates a widespread concern that linguistic standards should be maintained. Nevertheless, there is an alternative point of view that is concerned less with standards than with the facts of linguistic usage. This approach is summarized in the statement that it is the task of the grammarian to describe those prescribed to record the facts of linguistic diversity, and not to attempt to impossible task of evaluating language variation or halting language change. This is in the second half of the 18th century. We already find an advocate of this view, such as Josephine Priscilla-Hall's Sermons of English Grammar, 1961, insists that the custom of speaking is the original and only just standard of any language. Linguistic issues, it is argued, cannot be solved by logical and legislation. And this view has become the tenets of the modern linguistic approach to grammatical analysis. In our own time, the opposition between descriptives and prescriptives has often become extreme, with both sides painting unreal pictures of the other. Descriptives grammarians have been presented as people who do not care about standards because of the way they see all forms of usage are equally valid. Prescriptive grammarians have been presented as a bland adherents to a historical tradition. Their opposition has even been presented in political terms of radical liberalism versus elitist conservatism. Tidal power. Undersea turbines, which produce electricity from their tides, are said to become an important source of a renewable energy for Britain. It is still too early to predict the extent of their impact they may have but other signs are that they will play a significant role in the future. Operating on the same principle as wind turbines, the power in sea turbines comes from tidal currents, which takes place similar to ships' propellers. But unlike wind, the tides are predictable and the power input is constant. The technology raises the prospects of Britain and becomes self-sufficient in renewable energy and drastically reducing its carbon dioxide emissions. If tidal, wind, and wave power are all developed, Britain would be able to close gas, coal, and nuclear power plants and exports renewable power to other parts of Europe. Unlike wind powers, which Britain originally developed and then abandoned for 20 years, allowing the Dutch to make it a major industry. Undersea turbines could become a big export earner to island nations such as Japan and New Zealand. Tidal sites have already been identified that will produce 1/6 or more of the UK's power, and as prices competitive with modern gas turbines and undercutting those of the already aligned nuclear industry. One side alone, the Parliament face between Ireland and Midland, Scotland, could produce 10% of the country's electricity with banks of turbines under the sea, and underneath in the Channel Islands 3 times the 1,200 megawatts of Britain's largest and newest nuclear plant. Sites will be in Suffolk. Other sites identified include the Bristol Channel and the west coast of Scotland, particularly the channel between Campbelltown and Northern Ireland. Work on design for the new turbines place and the sites are well advanced at the University of Southern and Sustainable Energy Research Group. The first station is expected to be installed off this in-depth shortly to test the technology in the venture jointly funded by the Departments of Trade and Industry and the European Union. Mark in charge of the Sustainable Research said the prospects for energy from tidal currents are far better than from wind because the flow of the water are predictable and constant. The technology for dealing with the hostile saline environments under the sea has been developed in the North Sea, oil industry, and much is already known about the turbines blade design because of wind power and ship propellers. There are a few technical difficulties, but I believe in the next 5 to 10 years we will be installing a commercial marine turbines farmers and being aware 215,000 pounds over 3 years to develop the turbines and is working with marine current turbulence are subsidiary of ID Power on the Laymonth project. EU research has now identified 106 potential sites for tidal power. 8% around the coast of Britain. The best sites are between islands or around heavily intended coasts where there are strong tidal currents. Marine turbulence plays to be only 1/3 of the size of the wind generator to produce 3 times as much power. The blades will be about 20 meters in diameter, so around 30 meters of water is required. Unlike wind power, there are unlikely to be environmental objections. Fish and other creatures are thought unlikely to be at risk from the relatively slow turning in place. Each 10 minutes will be mounted on the tower which will connect to the national power supply grid via underwater cables. When the towers will stick out of the water and be lit to warm shaping, and also be designed to be lifted out of the water for maintenance and to clean seaways from the blades. Dr. Bai has done most work on the ordinary sites where there are powerful currents. The single undersea turbine in farm would produce far more power than needed for the Channel Islands, and most would be fed into the French grid and be re-imported into Britain via the cable under the canal. One technical difficulty is in cavitation, where low pressure behind a turning blade causes blade bubbles. This can cause a vibration and damage the blades of the turbulence. Dr. Behage said we have to test a number of blades types to avoid this happening, or at least make sure it does not damage the turbulence or reduce performance. Another slight concern is submerged debris floating into the blades. So far, we do not know how much of the problem it must be. We will have to make the turbulence robust because the sea is a hostile environment. But other signs that we can do is all good. All are good. Information theory lies at the heart of everything from DVD players and the genetic code of DNA of the physics of the universe. At this most fundamental, it has been central to the development of the science of communication, which enables data to be sent electronically and has a major impact on our lives. In April 2002, an event took place which demonstrated one of the many applications of information theory. The space probe Voyager 1, launched in 1967, had sent back spectacular images of Jupiter and stunning and then sought out of the solar system on the one-way missions to the stars. After 25 years of exposure to the freezing temperatures of deep space, the probe was beginning to show its age. Sensors and circuits were on the brink of falling, and NASA NASA experts realized that they had to do something or lose contact with their probe forever. Their solution was to get a message to Voyager 1 to instruct it to use spare to change their falling path. With the probe 12 million kilometers from Earth, this was not an easy task. By means of a radio dish belonging to NASA Deep Space Network, the message was sent out into the depths of space. Even traveling at the speed of light, it took over 11 hours to reach its target, far beyond the orbit of Pluto. Yes, incredibly, the little probe managed to hear the faint call from its home planet and successfully made the switch over. It was the longest distance repair job in history and a triumphing for the NASA engineers, but it also highlighted the astonishing power of the techniques evolved by American communications engineer Claude Simon, who had died just a year earlier, but in 1916 in Pulaski, merchant skills showed earlier talents for math and for building gadgets and make breakthroughs in the fundamental of computer technology when still a student. Whereas their laboratories, Simon developed information theory in both the shunt the resulting acclaim. In the 1940s, he single-handed created an entire science of communication which has science invited its ways into a host of applications, from DVDs to satellites, communications, and to barcodes, anywhere, in short, where data has to be conveyed or rapidly, yes, accurately. This all seems light years away from the down-to-earth use Simon originally hard for his work, which began with he was 22 years old graduate engineering student at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1939. He set out with an apparently simple aim to pin down the precise meaning of the concepts of information. The most basic form of information, Simon argued, is whether something is true or false, which can be captured in a binary units or bit of the form 1 or 0. Having identified these fundamental units, Simon sets about defining otherwise vague ideas about information and how to transmit it from place to place. In the process, he discovered something surprising. It was always possible to guarantee information will get through a random interface. Interference, noise, interact. Noise usually means unwanted sounds which interfere with genuine information. Information theory and generalize this idea via theorems that capture the effects of noise with mathematical precision. In particular, Simmons showed that noise sets are limits on the rate at which information can pass along communication channels and were remaining error-free. This risk depends on the relative strength of the signal and noise traveling down to communication channel, and on its capacity, its bandwidth, the resulting limits given its units of bits per second. This absolute maximum risk of error-free communication given single strength and noise level. The segment sought is to find ways of picking up coding information to type with the refugees voice while staying with the information carrying capacity and bandwidth of the communication system being used. Over the years, scientists have devised many such coding methods, and they have proved crucial in many technological fields. The Voyager spacecraft transmits data using codes which added one actual bit for every single bit of information. The result was an error rate of just 1 bit in 10,000 and stunningly clear picture of the planet. Other codes have become part of the everyday life, such as the universal product code or barcode, which use a simple error detecting system that ensure supermarket checkouts leaders can read the price even on, say, a crumpled bag of crisps. As recently as 1993, engineers made a major breakthrough by discovering so-called turbo codes, which can come very close to the ultimate limits for the maximum rate of data can be transmitted reliably and now play a key role in the mobile video phone revolution. Science also lacked the fundamental of more efficient ways of storing information by stripping out super flourish redundant bits from data which contributes a little real information. A mobile phone text message like "I can see you," I see you. You show it is often possible to leave out a lot of data without losing much meaning. As with the error collection, however, there is a limit beyond which messages become too ambiguous. Simmons showed how to calculate these limits, opening the way to the design of compression methods to cram maximum information into a minimal space. Marie Curie is probably the most famous woman scientist who has ever lived, born in Poland in 1867. She is famous for her work on radioactivity and was twice a winner of the Nobel Prize with her husband, and she was awarded in 1903 Nobel Prize for Physics, and was then so winner of the 1911 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize from childhood. Was remarkable for her prodigious memory, and at the age of 16 won a global medal on competition of her secondary education. Because her father lost his savings through bad investments, she then had to take work as a teacher from her earnings, so she was able to finance her sister medical students in Paris on the understanding the Brownian would in turn need help her to get an education. In 1891, this promise was fulfilled, and Marie went to Paris and began to study at the University of Paris. She often walked far into the night and lived on little more than bread and butter and tea. She came first. She came first in the examination in the physical science in 1893, and in 1894 was placed second in the examination in mathematical science. It was lost until the springs of the year that she was introduced to their marriage in 1895 marked the start of their partnership that was soon to achieve results of world significance. Following his discovery in 1896 of a new phenomenon which was later called radioactivity, he decided to find out if the radioactivity discovered was to be found in other elements. She discovered that this was true for turning her attention to minerals. She found her interest drawn to pictures whose radioactivity is superior to that of pure could be explained only by their presence in the aura of small quantities of an unknown substance of very high activity. During her work in the work that she had undertaken, the resolve of this problem, and that led to the discovery of the new elements, and Wallace devoted himself fully to the physical study of the new radiation. This was achieved with the help of chemists. One of the pupils. Based on the results of this research, Marie received her doctorate of science, and in 1903, Marie shared with the Nobel Prize for physics and the discovery of radioactivity. The birth of Marie's two daughters, Alice and Eve, in 1897 and 1904, failed to interrupt her scientific work. She was appointed lecturer in physics at the for girls in France in 1900 and introduced a method of teaching based on experimental demonstrations. In December 904, she was appointed chief assistant in the laboratory directed by the sudden death of her husband. It was a bitter blow to Marcus, but was also a turning point in her career. Henceforth, she was to devote all her energy to completing along the scientific work that they had undertaken. On May 13, 1906, she was appointed to the professorship that had been next vacant on her husband's death, becoming the first woman to teach at the Sorbonne. In 1911, she was awarded the Nobel Prize for chemistry for the isolation of pure from during World War I. Also, with the help of her daughter, devoted herself to the development of the use of X-radiography, including the mobile unit, which came to known as little girls, used for the treatment of wounded soldiers. In 1980, the Relief Institutes whose staff and joint began to operate in earnest and become a center for nuclear physics and chemists. So long as the highest points of her fame and from 1922, and a member of the Academy of researched the chemistry of radioactivity substance and their medical applications. In 1921, accompanied by her $2 manuscript made a triumphant journey to the United States to raise funds for research on women there. Presents her with a gram of room for her campaign. May also give lectures in Brazil, Spain, and in addition, he had the satisfaction of seeing the developments of the was in Paris. Where her recipient students became a director. One of her outstanding achievements was to have understood the need to accumulate intense radioactive source, such as not only to trace the illness, but also to maintain an abundant supply for research. Their existence in Paris as a residence of stock of 1.5 grams of radium made a decisive contribution to the success of the experiments undertaken in the years around 1930. This work prepared the way for the discovery of the by the above all for the discovery in 1934 by students radioactivity. A few months after this discovery, Michael's died as a result of caused by exposure of radiation. She had often carried test tubes containing radioactivity isotopes in her pockets, remaking it on the pretty burns that they give off. Her contribution to physics and had been immense, not only in her own work, the importance of which had been demonstrated by her two Nobel Prize, but because of her influence on subsequent generations of nuclear physics and chemists.